We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good.
Hello and welcome to La La Land on LA Talk Live. That's Dorothy Dillingham Blue.
And there's Brett Chapin.
Thanks.
Hello.
Hello, and thanks for joining us on La La Land. This is the only nationally broadcast show by Los Angeles artists about Los Angeles artists on episode number 131.
Fabulous.
And I just got my stuff together like 5 seconds before we got on the air. That was crazy. But
You've got a good excuse. We're very good now. Very good now. Yes. I mean, and I've seen you twice in 24 hours. This is very exciting.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
My life couldn't be better. I've seen you twice in 24 hours. How awesome is that?
I know. I went
to
see. Yes, I went to see you as Seymour in Little Shop of Horrors with the Kentwood Players, kentwoodplayers.org last night. They only have, four shows left. Just 4 shows. Friday, Saturday, Sunday? Do you not have a Sunday?
We don't have a Sunday on the closing weekend.
Okay. I was so confused. Is my math failing me? But it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Great show. Had a wonderful time. I'm telling you, those... you were, of course, lovely. But I've got to say that my absolute favorite were the Doo-Wop Girls.
Oh,
their
amazing.
Harmonies, they were tighter than the rubber band on a Sunday paper. I mean, they were tight.
They are so good.
Oh, they were amazing. And I remember being in the callback, and so I saw the process of that selection going, and I remember thinking, I'm like, I really hope it's those 3, because you have to have an alto, a true first soprano, and a true second soprano in order for it to work. And they were just amazing. So that's you have to tell me their names. It's Elizabeth.
That's Elizabeth, Brittany, and Amanda.
Yes, very well done. Snaps to you, ladies. Just total snaps. Love it. And of course, the amazing Kristen Towers-Rolls and Peter Miller and that guy who plays Seymour. Oh yeah, that's you, Brett Chapin.
That's me.
Yes, very, very well done. Very well done. So yeah, go out and see it. It's
I'm
one
glad
of my
you
faves.
liked it.
Yes, great space for it. Perfect size space.
It's a good show. I can't believe that it's been, that it's about to end in 2 weeks. It seems like it always flies by, but this one particularly seemed like it flew by.
Wow. That's good. That's the best kind, is that it feels like it's going, and it's by in an instant. You're like, how did that happen? How did it end? So,
yeah, I know. I'm looking forward to my next show, but I'm going to be a little sad when this one ends.
Yeah, the post-show depression, man, that stuff will get you. People don't... We actually, and our guest Moye Thompson today, who's her daughter, the lovely and talented Claire Sussman, has been in several of my shows. We send out a note to all the parents at the end of a show and warn them that your kid's going to act kind of weird for about 10 days because all of a sudden they don't have that extra very stimulating thing to do either 3 days a week or 5 days a week or whatever. So kind of real life sets in, and sometimes it makes you feel kind of so.
You know what it's kind of like? It's kind of like, the first few days when summer begins in school.
Yes.
It's like you think you're supposed to be going to school, but school's not in session, and so it's kind of, you don't know what to do with yourself this first couple days.
Exactly. And then it subsides. But yeah, it can cause strange cases of grumpiness and all that kind of stuff. But
so hopefully you have a next show to move on to when you go through something like that.
Right, right. I gotta say, for the first time, I have a bit of a break, and I'm really happy about that. I did constant from January up until now, and so I just got back from doing a shoot in Minneapolis for 2 days.
Yes, tell us about that.
Yes, I can't reveal the client yet, but I'll be in the holiday campaign for a large retailer starting October 20th. So you might see a familiar face and hear a familiar voice. Mm-hmm. So I'll be on the commercials for that. And then they had such a great time with us in Chicago. We shot for a 4 days in Chicago, which is very unusual for a commercial campaign. But we had such a great time with the ad creatives and all of that they pitched to the client a whole viral video addition to this campaign. And so they brought us to Minneapolis. There are 4 girls that I worked with, and they brought us all, 4 girls total, and they brought us back to a set, this time in Minneapolis. And again, we shot in a store, and they had us doing all kinds of craziness. So just watch out for that. It's very exciting. So I'm very happy about that.
You can't say the client, but what if I say something that rhymes with the client? Is that okay?
Not yet. Not yet.
Okay. I'll say nothing. But watch for Dorothy on the small screen in an awesome commercial.
Yes, very much so. We'll have links and all that kind of stuff out.
Yes.
When it's out and roaming, But here's something to note. You know how we have this whole the whole thing about don't be a poo head here. Like be nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And be a pleasure to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You also have to toot your own horn. I think we need to start talking about that too. Like, no one's going to come up to you at Starbucks and go, "Oh, are you writing a screenplay? Can I please read it?"
Right.
Or no one's going to come up to you on a set and go, "Oh, is there anything else interesting that you do?" You really have to toot yourself. And so that's what I did on the set, is that because the commercial itself was what's called MOS, motion without sound. So I knew there would be a voiceover part of the commercial. So I talked to the lead creative from the ad agency, and I said, so whose point of view is the voiceover going to be from? And she had come up with these characters. She's been working with this campaign for 6 months. It's very close to her. And she said, oh, it's from the character of Jen. And I knew from her pitch that I was playing that character, that I was Jen. So I said, oh, I've got a commercial voiceover demo. Why don't I just forward it to you? Would that be helpful? Let me help you out here. So yeah, ad agency, the whole team was there. They went through it. I made their job easy. Therefore, I've now doubled it. So now I'm the voiceover and I'm the on camera. And it's all because I put myself out there. I was easy to work with, worked with their schedule. And that's what you got to do. You got to put yourself out there.
I think if you're an actor not putting yourself out there, you're foolish. I hear a lot of actors say things like, I don't want to have a Facebook page because I want to keep my privacy and things like that. You gave up your privacy the minute you decided to be an artist. That's you should have all that stuff. You should have a website and a Facebook page and I know it's kind of expensive, but it's really not when it comes down to the value that you're getting for it.
That's for sure.
A couple $100 to put up a website, just a homepage is a great investment, and it boosts your value, I think, so much when casting directors and agencies look at that and they see that, okay, he or she is proactive.
Exactly. And updating any of your online profiles. They're the big ones. There's Actors Access, there's Casting Frontier, and there's LA Casting. If you aren't keeping those up to date, then if there's a casting director that kind of goes back and is like, I saw this person a while ago, I wonder what they've been up to, and your resume has not grown at all in however many years, they're going to pass you on by. But, I go through every 3 months, and I even just switch around the order. So, because, it's all like mind games. I did that, and a casting director that I met 13 years ago, no lie, called me up and was like, hey, Spelling Bee, because I just updated my resume and put Spelling Bee at the top, and said, hey, let me bring you in. I've got this great equity show. So he brought me in for this big show. I mean, you have to keep yourself going.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. It's important. And speaking of important things, you know who you missed while you were gone? Bill Pullman.
I know.
That was really cool. He came in, talked to us a couple of weeks ago. Real nice guy. He had an event at the Los Angeles Theater Center that was honoring him. I did not, unfortunately, get a picture with him, but Van Eric did. So our engineer producer Van Eric got a picture with him.
Well done.
So yeah, you'll have to forward you will have to forward that to me at some point. Right.
Oh, and can I just say, like, I know we have this beautiful art, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I know the score is not great right now.
I feel like you're between goalposts right
I
now.
am
Like,
between
should
goalposts, and
kick a field goal.
because I really want a touchdown for Oklahoma right now, people. Okay, so I'm pulling for Oklahoma right now. My husband is at the game. Travis, I love you very much. I know you're pulling for your Sooners, Boomer Sooner. So go OU.
Okay, that's enough about you and Oklahoma. I was gonna say, why do you like Oklahoma? And then Travis.
Exactly. Yes, I married in. I'm a football widow. Like,
Very
seriously.
cool.
Why do
Very
you think
cool.
I'm like okay with leaving the house on Saturdays? It's because there's really no reason to hang out
I don't
at the
know.
house. It's always football.
But we should talk about the amazing show that is coming up at Theater Palisades, The Foreigner.
Yes, The Foreigner.
Yes.
If you have not seen The Foreigner, it is a hoot and nanny. I mean, it's a really funny show.
Tony Teresi is directing. We have a great creative team, and I got to sit in on one of the rehearsals the other night. It looks really, really funny.
Good.
Yeah, good stuff.
Good.
TheaterPalisades.com for any information on that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we've covered everything? That's about
I
it.
think so.
Go
You
see
know-
Little Shop, KentwoodPlayers.org.
4 more shows.
4 more shows. Go see the Bel Airs opening on November 14th.
Who's in that we know?
Well, someone you might know, me.
You.
Yes.
Excellent.
November 14th, place411.com/the Bel Airs. Dorothy, your show just closed. It went well?
It did go well.
Good,
it did. I
good.
was great. And you know, we were a whole posse at your show last night.
I know.
The We Will
I loved
Survive
it.
girls, plus Sean, our bartender, the guy who played the bartender, was there. So we went to represent, because you guys did as well.
Yes.
You came and represented.
We love seeing you there. It was cool. I had a lot of people there last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. Let's get to guests. What do you think?
I love it. We've got the fantabulous Madysin Hatter. She was one of the first guests when I was on, or first things we did when I joined the show.
Oh, that's right. She
Was
was one
our
of the first.
was when we were on the phone with her, and
Yeah.
then we went to go see her show. I had so much fun, because I gotta say, Heartbreakers, hey, it's my jam, and so she opened her set with Heartbreak. I'm like, I'm sold. I'm
great.
a forever fan.
And this is actually her first time in the studio. She's been on the phone with
Stop
us
it.
like 2 or 3 times, but this is her first time actually being here.
And she's
So-
playing today.
And we got live music. We got
Oh my
entertainment
gosh.
coming
This
back
is
to La
why
La
I
Land.
love my job. This is great. And we also have Moye Thompson, who is a ceramics artist. She has a show going on right now. She's going to tell us more about that, as well as her process and how the heck she comes up with all this stuff. Because I would have this like fear of breaking stuff all the time. And what's so fascinating, and I've been to her home for shows before, and her husband is an architect and does modern design, and I don't feel like I'm gonna cut myself ever. And I don't know how the two of them managed to make this environment with pottery and modern design, and I don't fear life. I mean, it's really cool.
Really cool stuff. There's some stuff on display behind me on the table. There's something here. Some stuff
Yeah.
over by Dorothy. All kinds of things set up.
Yeah, all this kind of stuff. Oh, there's something inside. There's something inside. Oh boy, I'm excited. Great. So we're going to take a little break.
We are. If you want to find information on us, you can go to
Yes.
facebook.com/lalalandtalk, twitter.com/lalalandtalk. You can send us an email at lalalandtalk@gmail.com. And if you have any questions for our amazing guest today, give us a call at 323-247-7443. 323-247-7443 is not the phone number
It's not the phone number
anymore.
anymore.
Okay. Are we
Where's
still
it
using
posted?
that at all, though? I thought we were still also using that.
Not at the moment,
No.
but the new number
Okay.
is 323-473-3100.
Okay, we need to write that down.
473-3100.
Yes.
323. Got it. That's easy. So don't call the number I just gave you. 473-3100 for questions for Moye Thompson or Madysin Hatter. And, you can also tweet us questions at La La Land Talk on Twitter. And we'll take a quick break and be back on La La Land Talk with Brett and Dorothy on LA Talk Live.
Hey LA Talk Live listeners, be sure to tune in to Bandwidth Mondo every Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m. to catch live in-studio performances from a new artist every week.
Also streaming on Radio Flag, iTunes Radio, Live 365, and Ustream.tv.
Hello, I'm Joel Ramirez
And I'm Lolita Robinson-Coppage, and welcome to Joy in My House
on LATalkLive.com. Inspirational radio
with a touch of recovery.
a reality show where nothing is left unsaid,
And no one is insignificant who says it.
exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV.
Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
I need to find a way to understand today. There's so much in the way of seeing you clearly. Why can't it be explained? I feel you slipping away up to the sky and pray, 'cause I want you deeply. Just a pretty little fool. Oh, yeah, yeah. Just a pretty little fool. Oh, yeah, yeah. And
Welcome back to La La Land on LA Talk Live. I'm Brett Chapin, that's Dorothy Dillingham Blue, and we are here with artist Moye Thompson. Hi, Moye.
Hi. I would have been very happy just sitting here listening to the two of you talk for the rest of the hour. You are charming.
Why, thank you.
But
we
the
make
I-
a good team.
I mean,
you
I already
know?
knew you
We
were
do.
charming because I know Dorothy from another environment. But Brett, I had no idea.
Who knew how charming I was?
You look charming.
Oh, well, thanks. But, you know, the idea of the show is our amazing, amazing, talented guests. And
Absolutely.
as much as we want to talk about ourselves the whole show, our guests are what's important. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, I'm actually flattered to be here. I don't have too many opportunities to talk about my work because I actually, unlike you actors out on the stage, I tend to hide in my studio. And
Right.
I don't really get on Facebook. I don't Twitter. I just work very quietly with my clay, with my twigs, with my chicken wire. And when anybody shows interest, I'm delighted.
Excellent.
Your stuff is very cool.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Now tell us about kind of your journey to becoming an artist, a visual artist like
How
this.
much time do you have?
Okay, no,
Well-
the short term version.
Yeah, the short version is that when I was in third grade,
Uh-huh.
I was on a field trip. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. And I have to say, I'm actually the 13th generation of Georgia and Alabama farm families.
Wow.
So I think I have this long, deep connection to the earth.
Oh, yeah.
to clay, to mud. And I've always felt this connection to it. I remember finding clay in a creek near our house when I was teeny tiny. And I just thought, oh, clay, it's clay. When I was in third grade, living in Atlanta, I went on a field trip with my school, and somehow I got lost, and I accidentally wandered into this ceramic studio at this college, and there was a woman sitting there, and she turned this ball of clay into this beautiful big bowl, and for me, it was like magic. I'd never seen anything like it, and from that point on, really, I wanted to do it. So I sort of begged my parents, for one of these little toy pottery wheels,
Yeah.
which I set up in my basement, and it was a piece of garbage, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I saw that it was possible. And actually, when I was in high school, I took one class, loved it, and then I was serious about school. I went to Harvard, studied serious things, got out, was living in New York, writing for a magazine, and a boyfriend who always heard me talking about this pottery class in 10th grade said, I'm giving you a pottery class for your birthday. I was 22, I think, and from that point on, it was, I had a day job at a magazine, at Consumer Reports, where I was a writer,
Yeah.
making a good salary, but my real love and my life from that point on was going to the studio in New York, where I would be the first one there every morning on Saturday and the last one they kicked out at night, and within a couple of years I was teaching. and just has become a bigger and bigger part of my life. I moved here 16 years ago. My husband sort of persuaded me to come by telling me I could set up a pottery wheel on the deck outside and leave it outside from April until October when the first rains came. And he sold me. I moved here. Now I have a home studio with 2 kilns, a wheel, a slab roller, and that and my family are my life right now.
Was the boyfriend that gave you the pottery class the husband?
No. He was not the husband, but he was a pivotal figure in my life, so I always give him credit for that. But my husband, as Dorothy mentioned, is an architect, so he forever inspires me, and we do have a modern house. It's actually a 50s bungalow, wonderful in San Monica Canyon, that he found, a treasure, a little weary box of a house that was in foreclosure in the early 90s. He had the wisdom to buy it because we could never buy anything in our neighborhood now. And we did an addition after our first child, Claire, who's the actor who's done shows at Theater Palisades with Dorothy. After Claire was born 14 years ago, we did an addition. And
oh my God, she's 14.
She's 14. And and my husband, it's a warm, modern house. So you're right. It's funny because my husband hates sharp edges. He sees so much modern furniture and he says, how can they have those sharp edges? It needs to, you don't want to run into it and scrape your knee. So it's funny. And my pottery, it is fragile, and surprisingly few things have actually been broken by my dog or my kids. But I realized as you were talking that I've actually managed to introduce yet another more fragile material, which is twigs. I go to Rustic Canyon Park or to Will Rogers State Park on hikes, and I look for pigs and for pigs. I look for pigs. I have trouble finding pigs. I look for twigs and pebbles. And I incorporate, I don't know if anybody can see it, but I use, I have a bottle and I put a twig in the top, and then in that twig I'm going to put a little house. So it's a tree house.
See, this is gonna be the house.
So I work with chicken wire, make a little smoke coming out of the chimney, and the twigs broke in the car on the way here. Although I hired my son Teddy to carry things for me, and he did his best, but even so, things broke. That's the life of a potter.
You're right.
That's what sons are for.
And actually, he could not be a better son. He did his best. The twig was too high, obviously. It banged the top of the car.
Oh, my. You just got to get a taller car. That's what it is.
Actually, I'll make a little money, then I'll buy a taller car.
There you go. Get a Twigmobile.
So should I tell you a little bit about the show?
Yes, absolutely. Tell us about the show that you're doing right now.
Well, just a little background. I did start as really just a functional potter. I love I love making bowls. That was sort of what I would do. I just make bowl after bowl after bowl.
I have one of your bowls.
Yes, you do have one of my bowls. I think a purple bowl, right? To go with your school.
Northwestern,
there you go. And in fact, I brought a purple piece here just for you, Dorothy, and I'm going to give it to you at the end of the show. And I'm sorry, Brett, I don't know what color is your school, but you take a piece too.
That's okay, next time.
But I used to make functional pieces. I love just very clean. People think of they hear my name Moye and they think I'm Japanese. I'm not Japanese. I would love to claim some of that aesthetic as my own, but instead I've adopted it. But I love clean lines, nothing fussy. I use a lot of crackle ware, so the pieces sort of have an aged look already to them.
Where can people find your stuff if they want to?
Well, you can find my stuff. Right now, I do have a show of art pieces, not functional pieces, at the Lois Lambert Gallery, which is also called the Gallery of Functional Art at Bergamot Station. The show is going to be there until November 10th, and I would love to get people there because they're pieces that I took. I had so much fun making. And so for me, here they have an audience. Rather than sitting in my house or in my studio where nobody sees them, please, if you have a chance, get out to Bergamot, which is in Santa Monica or West LA.
I've been to that gallery. I actually saw a Shakespeare show in the gallery.
It's interesting you mentioned Shakespeare because sitting beside you is a piece of art I did for another show this fall, which was called Within. And I sort of wanted to have pieces within pieces. And in that case, you see that there's chicken wire going around a clay bottle. And then behind the chicken wire is another piece of chicken wire. And so I'm sort of working with paper and chicken wire. And that bottle is all about Shakespeare. There's a quote on the front. I don't know if you want to read it, Brett. But I was thinking of Don't Be a Pooh Head because it's sort of Shakespeare's version of Don't Be a Pooh Head. Which is, at the bottom it says, love all, trust a few, do wrong to none.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the motto we should all live by.
Love that.
And so anyway, there's an old map I found of London at the time with the Globe Theatre there, I think in the 1600s. And there's a little portrait, a famous portrait of Shakespeare, which is framed right in the front. I don't know if you can see that. But for me, one of the great pleasures of my recent work is that not only can I bring in other materials, things I find in the park, just beautiful paper. I get invitations in the mail. I think, oh, this is so beautiful. Let me cut it up and weave it into chicken wire. But I also get to use literature, words, quotes that that I certainly find inspiration in, and it's you think so many poems and quotes just sit in books and no one really sees them. So for me, it's an opportunity to share that. I put them on balls. You have a ball in front of you. I don't know if you want to read that.
Yeah, let me read this. Oh, and
there's a rattle inside it. I make those for people's weddings too, and I will put the name of the two people inside it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I call them spirit orbs.
Oh wow. And this one says, to sit with a dog on a hillside on a glorious afternoon is to be back in Eden, where doing nothing was not boring. It was peace. And that's by Milan Kundera.
He wrote The Unbearable Lightness of Being.
Oh, yes.
The great Czech novelist.
So what's with you and chicken wire? Like, is it? I mean,
Well,
like,
chicken
is
wire.
it just easy to work with?
Well, it's interesting
Or-
because chicken wire is actually quite difficult to work with. If you've ever tried to wrestle a big piece of chicken wire, it comes in big rolls. You can get them at the hardware store. I go up to Pacific Palisades to Norton's and I buy it by the foot. But the wonderful thing about it is that it is almost the opposite of clay, where clay is opaque, heavy, dense. Chicken wire is light, is transparent, but it is incredibly strong. And I first started, I was doing some pieces for the Zimmer Children's Museum, which is a museum here in Los Angeles.
It's on Wilshire, correct?
It's on Wilshire, right? Museum Mile. And every year they had a show called Show and Tell. They started it maybe 8 or 9 years ago, and they invited me. In fact, it was really when I made that transition from functional pottery to art. I knew the person who was curating it, and she actually asked my husband, as an architect, to make something for the show. There were a lot of celebrities making pieces. There were many very famous artists and politicians, and it was sort of a catch-all trying to get anybody who had a name that was recognizable to do something. At that point, I would say, did not have a name that was recognizable to anybody but my friends and family. But she had always been a big supporter of my work. And she said, I know you usually do functional pieces, but is there any way you could maybe do an art piece for us? And I thought, actually, that would be fun. And I have to be honest, I think most ceramic art is pretty ugly. There's a lot of ugly art out there, period. But I still admire everybody's effort to do it. And everybody has a different idea of what's beautiful and what's not, which is fantastic. And sometimes pieces I make, I think, ooh, that really didn't come out well. And someone will walk into my studio and that is the first piece they go to and the piece they want to buy. So
it's what speaks to you.
Yeah, it's amazing because you realize that everybody, I mean, it's true going to a play, reading a book, going to see an art exhibit, that everybody brings their own experience of life with them.
Yeah.
And so it means that every piece is different for everybody who sees it, who reads it, who watches it. And I mean, it's a beautiful thing. But anyway, back to the Zimmer show. So I did something that was called Show and Tell, and everybody was given a phone. I got an old 40s Bakelite phone, and I had to somehow turn it into a work of art. So it's sort of hard to describe, but that's when I started making the balls.
Oh,
and because this
okay.
was for a children's museum, I put dialogue from children's books, including Alice in Wonderland and some of the Wind in the Willows, probably some shows that you've done at Theater Palisades Youth. But I found wonderful dialogue that these kids in the books were speaking, and then I thought of these balls as speech balloons. And I created a big box made of blocks from Teddy's wooden blocks and glass. I created a glass box that was sort of up over the telephone, and then I had the handset of the phone on top, so it opened the lid of the box, and the box contained all of these speech balloons, and I called it Chatterbox.
Oh.
And it happened that 1, 2, 3, 4, or 0 to 9 had the exact right number of letters for Chatterbox. So I put the letters of Chatterbox in the rotary dial of the phone. And anyway, it was so much fun to make. And it was the first piece that was sold by the gallery or by the Zimmer for that show. And so since then, I've been doing a piece every year for the show. And my work has been more and more about it was a tower I first made of chicken wire because I realized, I wanted to make this tower and have something suspended in it for the Zimmer Museum. And so I made a big tower. I don't know if you can see the one by Dorothy there, but a big, tall, skinny clay tower.
That's huge.
And I sliced the top off and then put an insert of chicken wire there, sort of make a little cage of chicken wire, which can be completely open. In the case of the one Dorothy has, I wove a map of Rome into it. I found this old map of Rome. I copied it. I didn't cut up an actual beautiful old map, but I sliced it and then wove the chicken wire into it. But sometimes I leave that chicken wire cage completely open and I suspend things inside it. like a magnifying glass or an image of something. Sometimes I put another little pot, a tiny little pot inside it.
You have one of those over on our table.
I don't know if I can wander over.
Or you've got
place.
one in the square.
Oh, exactly. Well, here's can anybody see?
Yeah, if you put it next to you.
Okay, here we go. I have I found at Michael's craft supply store these wonderful just shadow boxes, and then there is something which I sort of hesitate to share with everybody in the world because it's so beautiful. I want to hoard it and keep everything myself. But there's something called washi tape, which is Japanese, and it comes in a range of colors. And I went online and went sort of washi tape crazy, going to every website I could to order different colors of it, and I wrapped this shadow box in the washi tape in different colors, and then I put a little pot with a hole, so the pot is actually suspended in the square of the shadow box for those who can't see it. But I was talking a little while ago too about poetry and pottery.
Mm-hmm.
And again, let me turn this around so people can sort of see. I made a box of clay and carved it, so it's striped. So this one is a yellow and white striped one. And then I'm a great fan of Garrison Keillor's The Writer's Almanac. You should, if you don't know it, go online right now and Google The Writer's Almanac. He also does. He does
Prairie
a broadcast.
Home
he does Prairie Home Companion.
I was just in
We're talking
Minneapolis.
with
perfect.
We're talking with artist Moye Thompson. If you have any questions for Moye, give us a call at 323. Eric Van Eric.
What's that number again, Van Eric?
It's 323-473-3100. That's 3100.
Yes,
The smooth sounds of Van Eric, yes.
So I was plugging Garrison Keillor,
Yes.
who seems to love poetry. He does a daily podcast, I think, where he reads a poem. And so I subscribe. I get these daily podcasts, so I can see these poems, and every now and then there's one that I just love, and I think, I'll bring it into my work somehow. So can I read this one here? I have it just, this is actually a mock-up. This is just paper here. Usually I make a cylinder of clay, and I have these stamps I got from a leather supply company, where I actually stamp letters into the clay, these tiny little letters, and then I rub ink into them, and so you can actually read them. So this is a poem that is on a cylinder here in this box, so you can just turn it and read it. It is called Success Story by a poet named Terrence Winch. And he says, "My clothes are perfectly contoured to my body. My shoes and socks fit just right. My cat is a delightful, intelligent animal. My apartment is great. The right location, cheap rent. I eat the best food. My friends love me. I adore them. My lover is terrific and beautiful. The sun is shining. There are trees even in the slums of Washington. I have tons of money and a gorgeous air conditioner. Great art hangs on my wall. I live a spine-tingling life of delirious sex and intense happiness."
That's really cool.
I love this poem. Oh, and look, there's applause. Thank you. Thank you, Terrence Winch, for that.
And thank you so much for joining us, Moye.
Well, I loved being here.
Give people the information on your show one more time before we.
It is at Bergamot Station in Santa Monica at the Lois Lambert Gallery, which is the Gallery of Functional Art. You can also, I'm sort of ashamed to say, you can go online and find me at moyeceramics.com. But I'm one of these people who does not update her website that often. I had what is probably the oldest website online.
Okay.
Well, as long as people can find you,
They
that's what
find
matters.
me, and there's a new site coming soon.
right.
Bookmarked there, so you can find me with contact information, and you can Google my name, and you can actually find plenty of work out there online. Not at my website, but in other websites.
Excellent. And you'll keep in touch with us. Let us know when your other shows are coming. I know
would.
you always do a holiday show.
I
so.
usually do a holiday show, but I will certainly let you know, Dorothy. You will not be able to escape me. And let me know about your shows, because I definitely need to get to the theater more.
Absolutely.
Well, we're on the air every Saturday
and
at noon.
I will definitely go on the air every Saturday at noon.
Cool.
Wonderful. All
Moye
right.
Thompson.
Great. So we'll take a break.
Yeah, we'll take a break. Why don't we? Do you want to? Hi, Madysin Hatter. This is weird. Do you want to sing us a song coming back from the commercial? Do you want to set up now and do that? Okay.
Cool.
We'll be back with Madysin Hatter and Gary Melvin. If you have any questions for them, be sure to give us a call at
323-473-3100.
I'm just never going to say the phone number. I'm just going to let you do it every time.
It's much cooler that way.
Yeah, it is. He's got a way better radio voice than I do. We'll be back on La La Land with Brett and Dorothy on LA Talk Live. Where's my camera? There it is.
Baby, I'm weak. maybe you're strong, but it's a rocky road. You're taking me down, but I ain't got nothing but time. I know someday you'll be mine. Take a look in the mirror. Take a look at yourself. You've been treating me badly in a quest for your wealth. So take a look in the mirror. Tell me what do you see? Late nights can change and rearrange your destiny. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is Brett Chapin.
And this is Dorothy Dillingham Blue, inviting you to join us every Saturday at noon Pacific Standard Time for our show, La La Land Talk.
Join us as we talk with some of the top talent in LA. Artists' untold stories, your phone calls, and live on-location broadcasts have made La La Land one of the best sources in LA for everything entertainment.
So don't forget to tune in to La La Land Talk.
Exclusively on latalklive.com.
You can also catch us on iTunes Radio, R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, and now Stitcher Radio. Or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com.
Saturdays at noon Pacific time. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/LaLaLandTalk, Twitter, twitter.com/LaLaLandTalk. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live.
And we are more than just talk. I think we've got a Shakespeare monologue or two we could do. Yeah.
Jazz hands.
Kickball change.
Good
That's
stuff.
what I'm saying. Mm-hmm.
I'll do some Pippin.
Ooh, yeah. Some miming. I'm in a box. I'm in a box. I'm in a box.
Hey LA Talk Live listeners, be sure to tune in to Bandwidth Mondo every Saturday from 3 to 4 p.m. to catch live in-studio performances from a new artist every week.
Also streaming on Radio Flag, iTunes Radio, Live 365, and Ustream.tv.
Hello, I'm Joel Ramirez
And I'm Lolita Robinson Coppage, and welcome to Joy in My House
on LATalkLive.com. Inspirational radio
with a touch of recovery.
A reality show where nothing is left unsaid.
And no one is insignificant who says it.
Exclusively on LATalkLive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B or watch us on Ustream TV.
Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is Barbara Perkins, inviting you to join us every Sunday afternoon at 2:40 for Sisters at the Well Radio, a conversation with women about women. Join us as we share stories about current events, jazz events, business opportunities, health and wellness, entertainment, and so much more. So don't forget to tune in Sundays at 2:40, exclusively on latalklive.com. You can also catch us on iTunes Radio R&B, Live 365, Radio Flag, or watch and listen directly at latalklive.com. Reality radio handcrafted for your listening pleasure. This is LA Talk Live, and we are more than just talk.
Hi, this is John McClure Jr., aka Simply John, and I would like to invite you to join us on gospelrhythms.com every Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our show gospelrhythms.com Talk Live Radio. Join us as we celebrate Christians around the world in all genres of entertainment, as well as highlight interest stories on men and women who are making a difference and impacting their community. So don't forget to tune in to gospelrhythms.com on LA Talk Live And we're more than just talk. Remember, it's a heaven's party here on earth. So live life. Love God.
Welcome back to La La Land on LA Talk Live. And this is Madysin Hatter with Rocky Road.
Take a look in the mirror. Take a look at yourself. You've been treating me badly in a quest for your wealth. So take a look in the mirror. Tell me, what do you see? Late nights can change and rearrange your destiny. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're taking me down a rocky road, but I don't really mind. Say what you're doing to me can be good, but I ain't got nothing but time. Maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm weak, yeah, maybe you're strong, but it's a rocky road. You're taking me down, but I don't really mind. Yeah, 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 yeah. Maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm weak, and maybe you're strong, but it's a rocky road. You're taking me down, but I don't really mind. I know someday you'll be mine.
Thank you.
Madysin Hatter live on LA Talk Live. So that we don't have to have some weird transition, why don't you pull up a chair, Madysin, and we'll just interview you from right there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
That song was called Rocky Road. That is off of her album Pretty Little Liar.
Pretty Little Fool.
Pretty Little Fool. That's what
Although
I
Pretty
meant.
Little Liars is a great show.
Sorry, Norman Buckley. My bad. So you have a show. You've okay. This is like your fourth appearance on the show. We love you on the show. You
and
have.
now I'm finally here.
I know.
Like
I know.
physically here, which is awesome.
You've always been on the phone before. This is great.
Yeah. There was one time when I was like in my basement, another time that like it was right before work. So I was like in the parking lot in my car.
Oh, that's awesome.
The life of an artist, right?
Yeah, what
but
are you
it's
gonna do?
awesome to be here. It's a cool studio, a cool place, and it's awesome to see you guys like interact in person. It's pretty cool. Although I did see you guys at my show in January, which
That's
was
true.
awesome. I
Did.
appreciate you guys coming.
Oh, what a great show that was.
It was fun.
Yeah, you got dragged out like for a social night that night.
I wouldn't say
for
dragged
a rare.
out, but I
well, not dragged, but
Until I started singing
yeah.
Heartbreaker.
Right.
Oh my God, it was so amazing. Oh,
thank you.
Because I mean, I, when you kind of like do the whole like get married, have kids thing, you're kind of like, oh, okay, and then you get back to the whiskey. I hadn't been there in a few years, and so I'm walking around like, okay, I remember it's loud. I remember this. I remember this part of it. And then I heard you. I was like,
Aww.
and I was just sold. I'm like, yay!
Thank you.
Get me a Corona. I mean, yeah.
What we really like about Madysin Hatter is I mean, you studied musical theater in college, right?
I
and
did,
we'll get to
yeah.
your show on Monday night at the Whiskey in a second. But you studied musical theater in college.
Yes, in town, actually. I went to UCLA.
And then you
just kinda down
transitioned
the
to
street.
rock music.
Well,
What a cool
I always
transition.
loved rock music.
Right.
Like, even in college, I was kind of like sneaking away to shows. Like, even when I was supposed to be in rehearsal, there was one time in
Happens.
particular that there was, they were doing some sort of it was like a charity concert or just like an eclectic group of 80s rockers that were literally rehearsing for this big show they were doing down the hall from us. And I wasn't supposed to be in rehearsal. I was outside of the room doing my homework. And all of a sudden I hear what was it? It was All Along the Watchtower. So I sneak to the theater down the hall and I peek and see who it is. And it's Uli John Roth, who's the guitarist from Scorpion. So I was like, are you kidding me right now? So I kind of just hung in backstage the rest of the day, just watching all of these crazy people that I admire so much, just playing there. So it was always kind of I love musical theater, but my heart and soul is really rock music, I just love
Yeah.
it. It's the best way I can express myself.
And I think, I don't know, and you can tell me what you think on this, but I think that why are you looking at me that way?
I don't know. I'm like, what is he going to ask me my opinion on?
I think
You
that some
never know.
reason, some rock music is derived from, or some musical theater is derived from rock music. Would you say that's the
Currently,
case?
yes. I think that's a huge trend right now, and I wouldn't even call it a trend. I think it's something that's here to stay. Everything from Rent to American Idiot to
Mhm.
Spring Awakening. I mean, there's a lot of crossover right now.
Totally.
With
Totally.
with the creators. I mean, Cyndi Lauper just won a Tony for
Yes.
writing the score for Kinky Boots, and the way. And did you hear her acceptance speech, which I loved? She
Mhm.
goes, "This is how I learned to sing. Was listening to my mother's old albums, the cast albums. That's how I learned to sing." And then, but we know her.
You do a good impression.
Thank you. But we know her from her pop rock music. But the
Right.
thing is that her base, her training, her beginning was learning how to train her instrument, which you have to have
absolutely
in musical theater. So I think that's important. That it all. I think trying to kind of carve out one niche or the other. They're all going to intersect at some point.
And even back in the 70s,
oh, Tommy,
Hair.
who's Tommy?
Tommy, that's one of my favorites. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I love that. I could watch that movie all day long.
Mhm.
Pippin, which is one of my favorite
Pippin.
musicals. I can groove to that as I'm driving someplace, running errands.
Godspell.
Yeah, there's so many.
Mhm.
And I think as long as you're you have something to say, it doesn't really matter whether it's musical theater or rock. They all somehow can intersect. You can mold it to intersect, which I think is pretty awesome. Yeah.
What do you think, if you were going to give advice to someone starting out in the rock or musical theater industry, what would you tell them? Would you give them any particular piece of advice?
I would.
What would you say?
I'm glad you asked that. I would say just do it. There was a period of time where I was afraid that I wouldn't make it, or scared that somebody would react in a way that I would be oh, maybe I shouldn't do this. But the second that I got over that and just threw myself out there in any capacity, not caring what people think, that's when I started to see results and really started to become who I need to be,
Yeah.
So I would say just do it. Make your own opportunities. If you're not cast in something, then do your own show, the opportunities are unlimited, especially in a town like LA, but really anywhere. As
Yeah.
long as you have an idea of what you want to do and you're motivated and stick with it and you're not afraid, then you really can do anything. So
I hate it when
that's what I
people
would
use
say.
the small town excuse, they're in Philadelphia and they say they can't act because
Philly's not a small town.
yeah, well, not small town, but they're in a place outside of New York or LA or Chicago, and they say that they cannot. There's opportunities everywhere. I mean, maybe
Everywhere.
not
Absolutely
in
everywhere.
the middle of Kansas or wherever, but I mean, if you're in a semi-major city, there's probably opportunities for you.
Definitely, anywhere. And you know what? I'm really grateful to my education from UCLA because I was a theater major, we went over, but I studied all different like categories of theater. So I took like a lighting design class, a costume design class, set design, like everything. So I've been lucky enough to see the different angles of everything and how the puzzle pieces fit together, which I think has really helped me as far as like right now, like I am Madysin Hatter. Like I do the website, I do the graphic design, I write the music, I book the shows, I promote the shows. Like I do like
It's a lot of work.
everything, which like it's a lot of work. It's basically like a full-time job, pretty much. But at the same time, like I enjoy it so much more because I see everything that goes into it. And like when I have like a little victory, that's like a huge victory because I've worked so hard for it.
And you're not dependent on someone else's
That's true
vision
too.
to build your own.
That's true. Hey, if there's a label out there and they want to sign me, awesome, you know? But in the meantime, like I can sustain myself and I'm having an awesome time doing that.
Have you ever crossed paths with Kat Parsons? Does she sound familiar? She's very much a DIYer herself.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, and
That's cool.
Yeah. Hers is her sound I would say is more kind of like Indigo Girls, Ani DeFranco-ish, but
Nice.
but with the same like passion, do it yourself, make your own thing. You know,
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Tell us about your show on Monday.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
I know you are. You've been promoting this
I
for months.
Can't wait. Oh my gosh. So it's this Monday night at Whiskey A Go Go on the infamous Sunset Strip. That whole area is just like
It's where I
magical,
got my tattoo.
you know? You got a tattoo there?
I got a tattoo, yeah.
Nice.
Yes, thank you.
That's
I
a
know.
good place to
I
get
know.
a tattoo. There's so much history there, you know? Like Whiskey A Go Go, the Doors were like the house bands. Like so many of the huge 80s bands that I like idolize like got their start there. It's a whole scene. It's
Lot
so
of
cool.
history.
And everybody there has been like so nice to me and awesome and supportive. So I'm excited to be back at Whiskey A Go Go. So it's this Monday. We go on at 10. The doors, I think, or not the doors, but like the actual doors to the venue open at like 7, I think, or 8. There's a couple other bands playing before us, all really cool. And then we're going on right before. It's a band called Hookers and Blow. And it's kind of like a super band, you know? You have Alex Grossi from Quiet Riot, the guitarist. And then you have Dizzy Reed, who's the keyboardist from Guns N' Roses. I know, right? Both of them are so awesome. And, like, they're really sick musicians, you know? Like, I went to their show this past Monday, and they were actually on the East Coast a couple weeks ago. And I went to those shows, too, because, like, I'm from New Jersey. So I went to the New York show and the New Jersey show. And they do, like, it's, like, covers, but it's just so sick to be, like, that close to, like, people that... I mean, people pay hundreds of dollars to see them in like arenas, you know, and you're like there. You are there.
Yeah, if you've
and
never
they're
been to
like
the Whiskey,
singing
it's
to
like-
you and playing to you.
Yeah.
It's an amazing experience. So I'm really fortunate to be their direct support for this show. I go on at 10. They go on at 11. And it's at Whiskey A Go Go. I mean, it's freaking awesome.
I think
I
people would be
literally been counting down
surprised.
the days for like ever.
Can't wait.
I would think people would be surprised at how intimate Whiskey A Go Go is. I
Yes.
think they tend to think it's like this giant place, and
Totally.
I love going there because you even if you're upstairs, you could see the way they built it. It's almost like the Globe Theater, in that you're up and over, and you can be like right near the stage, and you're so close.
Yeah, we were up above, and we could
were.
we had a great view.
It was great.
Yeah.
Highly suggest. Highly suggest.
Yeah, there's like not a bad place to stand in that place. And it's just, there's so much, the air is like thick with the history. So,
And you're recording some new music?
I'm writing some new music and planning on recording it when I get back to the East Coast within the next couple months. And we're actually debuting this new song at the show on Monday. And it's called Black Velvet Snake Bite.
Nice.
I'm so excited about this song. I can't wait to perform it for everybody, and I can't wait to record it and release it on iTunes as well. It's I thought of the name because I work at a bar on the East Coast, a bar restaurant, Grasshopper off the Green in Morristown.
All right.
Amazing place, best shepherd's pie ever. And on our screen, like when we put in orders and stuff, there's like a beer draft screen. And there's one button that says like black velvet snake bite. But like obviously those are two different drinks. They're just like the same price, and people don't really like order that like as frequently as like Coors Light draft or something like that, you know. So it was combined on the button. I was like, how is this not like either a rock band or a rock song? Like, how can I like turn this into like an idea that would be like a song? And that's initially how the song developed.
All right.
And what, Grasshopper on the Green, weren't they on Diners, Drives, and Dives? That you guys were.
We have a couple different restaurants. I'm not sure about the one in Morristown. I probably should know the answer to that question.
Okay.
But
I feel like I saw an episode on that restaurant. But
Ooh.
anyway.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And I must say, snake bites are rather tasty. I do like myself.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So what is your other song that you got for us?
Yes.
What is that
It's
called?
called Gypsy Rock.
Gypsy Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it.
Cool. This is our first time doing this song like acoustically. Like
Oh.
my sound
We're
is
honored.
really like, you know, like rock. Still like a little bit of pop, but like rock pop. So to be able to do these songs unplugged is like a pretty cool experience.
I like
We
it.
should do like a whole acoustic show next time or something.
Sure.
Get that in the works.
Gypsy Rock.
Yeah, here we go.
All right.
Woo! You come walking in. I haven't seen you in a year or more. The bar is crawling. You got your back against the door. Well, it seems I've waited for this moment where I can throw you away. You think that something's gonna happen, but that was yesterday. Hey, Gypsy Rock, Gypsy Rock, you're wasting my time and breaking my heart. Now, baby, you've gotta move. Gypsy Rock, baby, rock your way. Gypsy Rock, my head is reeling. The past is making me see red. What you said is maybe better left unsaid. Well, it's been so long, I've changed so much, but you don't have a clue that I have moved so far away to a land called over you. Oh, Gypsy Rock, Gypsy Rock, you're wasting my time and breaking my heart. Now, baby, you've gotta move. Gypsy Rock, baby, rock your way. Gypsy Rock, wow! You're done wasting my time and breaking my heart. Now, baby, you've gotta move. Gypsy Rock, baby, rock your way. Gypsy Rock, you're done wasting my time and breaking my heart. Now, baby, you've gotta move. Gypsy Rock, baby, rock your way. Gypsy Rock. Woo!
Nice. The amazing Madysin Hatter.
I love that lyric that like I've moved to the land of, what is it?
Over you.
Yes, I love that. Thanks.
Oh, we've all moved to that land before.
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
Madysin Hatter, Monday night at the Whiskey A Go Go. For tickets and
Yay.
information, go to MadysinHatter.com. That's MadysinHatter.com.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me back.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you.
Come back and visit anytime.
Thank you. I will do.
And buy her CD. Buy her CD.
Yes, CD.
Pretty Little Fool.
iTunes.
On
On
iTunes.
iTunes. Awesome. And thanks again to Moye Thompson for visiting. Don't forget her show is at the Bergamot Station right now in Santa Monica.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And what do we have for next week?
I have to look.
You have
'cause
to look.
I forgot. Okay, for next week we have, and I feel like we might need a drum roll. Oh my gosh, how could I forget them? We have the writer and 2 of the actors from the web series Super Knocked Up. Okay? I don't know if I've told you about this, but this is a web series about
Clearly from my face.
Superheroes.
Superheroes.
That one of them gets pregnant. And therefore super knocked up. And they're from New York. They're going to call in and give us all the info on what's going on with their web series. It's getting some real good press right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
So, until then, until episode 132, I'm Brett Chapin.
I'm Dorothy Dillingham Blue.
And this is La La Land on LA Talk Live. We'll see you at the top.